Hello. Hello, welcome back. Sorry, it's cold here. And my husband can say what he wants about having heat in the house. I'm extremely grateful because I'm absolutely freezing. You're propped up on the top of one of my blenders and my Lazy Susan in my kitchen, and I'm sitting on my toddler's step stool so I could sit here where the vent is keeping me warm. I'm a cold person. I look like this is how I look. I'm so sorry. We're gonna read out of my devotional, which I think I've discovered is really just an uplifting book, more than anything. But that's okay. We're gonna read out of this, and then I'm gonna tell you a little bit of a bonkers story. Are you ready for it? I wasn't ready for it. Okay. It's February 16th. So, His goodness and beauty. The Lord is good. Psalm 105. Is God really good? Many of us live with this question as we feel the weight of suffering. I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't read this, huh? We may not be saying the words, but it's deep inside us, and we experience the effects. Our hearts aren't at rest. We're constantly worried about what's coming. We sometimes feel defeated and helpless. We project our negative emotions and difficulties onto God. Then we're not so sure He's attentive or trustworthy. The truth is, nothing and no one can change the character of an infinite God. He has no skewed motives, no corrupt desires, no darkness at all. He's perfect and pure and lovely. Now, those hard things in your life, He'll find a way to use them to carry out His purposes, to shape you into beauty and bring blessings. It'll take time, and you won't be able to understand it along the way, but the Almighty will accomplish His good and pleasing and perfect will. Romans 12:2. Listen close, dear one. Your good God created you to share His goodness with you, not to keep it from you. Don't let anything, not the pain or questions or difficulties in this life, convince you otherwise. All the good things in my life are from you, God. You are good, and you want goodness for me. Well, we made it. We made it through that, huh? Anyway, that was a good one. But let me tell you a story about today. Today's Sunday. And it goes back a little farther than today. And it'll bring about, kind of why I look the way that I do. And not only am I not better, okay? And this story might make me look a little bad. I'm not sure. We'll see. It depends on who's on the other side of this. But it might make me look a little bad. And I've had very mixed feelings on it. So, like, back before Christmas, I was talking to someone that we recently switched churches, and I'll be honest with you, like, it's not like there's anything bad at the last church. I love the last church that I had gone to. I love the people there. Really, the only reason, there was a couple reasons why I needed to change, I think. The first one and the main one is that they had nothing for kids. And I'm not saying that you go to church for entertainment, but it was literally so hard. Because whenever I go by myself, they didn't have children's church or anything. So I would have to keep the kids. So I would end up having my younger daughter watched by someone, and I would take my older daughter, and that still was hard. That was hard. So I needed somewhere that my kids could go during service. I needed somewhere where they could go and be met on their level, and they could get something really good out of it, which my daughter really enjoyed our last church. It's not that, but it was very, very difficult. And this one, there's more kids. They have children's church for both age groups. It's nice, okay? The other reason is The other one was a bit of a drive for me, and this one is literally, it's not a drive, like, at all. So that's nice. And back before Christmas time, I was just talking to a lady, and it came about that I had never been baptized before, and she's like, really? And I'm like, mm-mm. And I was like, I would like to, but for a lot of different reasons, I hadn't. And here's how I personally feel about it. You know, I was raised in church, and when I was like young, I had a lot of opportunity to get baptized, and I never wanted to do it. It didn't feel right. There was something at the time that felt very wrong. It just didn't feel right to do. And that was a wonderful church too, and I have nothing bad to say. But when you're raised in a church, it depends on your takeaway. And right now, we are in kind of a revolt. I don't know how to describe it, of this time where kids who were in like youth group at the time that I was in church, like, they're really angry. They're really angry. I am not angry. But due to some, I don't know how to say it, due to some circumstances, like at that time, I didn't want to get baptized. It felt fake, even if I wasn't fake. I just didn't want to do it. And then, I'll be honest, opportunity has not really presented itself as well, and it didn't feel very organic, and I didn't know how to bring it up, and for a long time I still didn't feel right about it for some reason. And then when I did feel right about it, it wasn't very organic. So it came up organically. I was talking to this woman, and then she was just like, well, if you want to get baptized, like, get baptized. You know, I'm like, I just don't know how to bring it up. And then Christmas time, they were doing a communion at the church, and we were unable to make it anyway, but I was going to go and take my daughter, and my mom got really upset, and she said, you know, that I couldn't take communion because I hadn't been baptized. And I'm like, I've never heard this rule and everything. And so it just, the pastor's wife had reached out to me, and, you know, not only that, but like not being a member and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't know anything about this, but okay. I know that I was raised in a bit of a different type of a church. It was non-denominational. There was no membership to the church and like stuff like that. So I was like, maybe I just don't get it. So anyway, I had reached out to the pastor's wife, and I was like, is it like, can I like not do communion if I've not been baptized or I'm not a member of the church? And she was like, oh no, you can do it. You can do it. We don't, yeah. So we didn't end up making it. But here's the thing. That opened a conversation just between myself and the pastor's wife. And she's like, you know, would you like to be baptized? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, I was thinking, I'm not complaining. My mom made it sound like I've been grumpy. I don't mean to be grumpy, but I was thinking like spring or something. But instead, it was set for, I don't remember the date that it was set for, and I had to contact them because norovirus was spreading through my household, and I had this gut feeling that I was going to get it. And sure enough, when was I in my living room on a toddler mattress, or twin mattress, getting up every so often to throw up my guts? It was Saturday night. So I was glad that I rescheduled it, right? It was either Friday night or Saturday night. So I was like, I'm glad I rescheduled it. But when they rescheduled it, they had told me that they had contacted the other person getting baptized. And I was like, okay, so it's not just me. So then I felt pressure Not pressure to get baptized, but pressure about the scheduling. This could get a little sketchy. My husband's actually in there with her. Anyway, so I felt pressure then about the scheduling of this, okay? So, my whole family has been sick, and getting over it is just like really, really difficult. Well, I found out one of the reasons that it's difficult, and I haven't been able to do a video. Like, it's just been rough around here, especially like for me. I'm in the throes of feeling terrible, and so my husband is too. Well, I feel like we've gone. Oh no. Sorry, if I had the capability of editing, I would have just edited that out, but I can't. So anyway, we've gone from like flu A into secondary infection. So we have been victimized by flu A like a lot of people have been this year, and I think this is one of the reasons that it is taking literally forever to get past it. And we threw in the towel, and we took our daughters last Friday, and so 3 days ago, took them in. My oldest daughter has pneumonia, and my youngest daughter has bronchitis. Now, I've had bronchitis a lot, like more than I care to admit to. I have had bronchitis a ridiculous amount of times, and I do not enjoy bronchitis at all. I don't. My older daughter has been saying that she's feeling better. My older daughter is the one that has pneumonia, by the way. She's saying she's feeling better. She just has this cough, especially that wakes her up and stuff. So I reached out to my doctor also and gave her the lowdown on how long I'd had it and, whatever's going on. And she said, I don't trust this. I'm going to send in an antibiotic. So she sent in an antibiotic that I've never taken before. So basically my oldest daughter was put on steroids and an antibiotic. My youngest daughter was put on steroids, and I was put on an antibiotic. I was not seen. My daughters had chest x-rays. Now, what I will say about mine is this does not feel like bronchitis. And Friday night, I had a significant coughing fit that lasted probably 45 minutes, very few breaks. I kept peeing my pants, I kept throwing up, but not like throwing up because like I was sick. It was just like the muscles in my throat would just catch, and it would just be just right, and it would just be like a little bit. It wouldn't be anything crazy, but it was over and over and over and over. And I finally remembered that in the message that I got from my doctor, she actually told me to take an antihistamine for the coughing, which I was like, oh, makes sense, because the doctor that we had seen earlier in the day, she was saying that the airways get constricted, and that's what's happening with, because the swelling and everything, that's what's happening with all this stuff and these secondary infections. And so then my doctor didn't go into that detail, but she said take an antihistamine. I took that antihistamine, and it kept me from coughing. So, what you're hearing is my youngest daughter who really can't take anything, and maybe I should have given her an antihistamine, but what I was trying to do, I'll be honest with you, is wait until closer to time for me to, because they only last like so long or whatever, wait till closer to time for me to go to bed and then give her some. So, anyway, here we are. So my baptism was rescheduled for today, and I was feeling that pressure and going back and forth, and honestly where I had gotten myself to was, I don't care, I will fake it till I make it. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to try to do it. And nobody's been really paying attention to me being sick. Everybody's been worried about my daughters, especially my older one. And I'm not saying I need the attention, but I'm just saying, like, nobody's really been paying attention. Like, I was really, really, really sick for like 3 days and would talk to people and then get like, well, what do you mean you're sick? I thought you were better. And I'm like, who said that? Not me. No one said that. So I don't know. I don't know. But I think the last couple of days, people finally really started noticing. And my husband, after that really bad coughing fit, my husband was like, well, obviously you're not going on Sunday. And I'm like, yeah, I am. And he's like, no. My family, my mom and my dad and my grandmother are like, well, we want to go and we want to see you get baptized, but are you sure you need to be doing that? And I'm like, no. No, and I have real mixed feelings and emotions about it even still, because I don't think that people need to be taking sickness places. At this point, I don't think any of us are contagious, but honestly, who knows? We don't know. I will say after I got there, most of the people that were there had the sniffles. I mean, that's yeah. I mean, because people just go, don't they? We don't. We don't just go. We stay home, normally, until today. So I was nervous, and I was like, oh boy. So we went. It was just me and my older daughter, and we went with my mom and my dad and my grandma. My husband stayed at home with my younger daughter, and because she goes to the nursery, you know, and yeah. So we went, but I was getting ready, and then I realized, oh, I think she said that I needed to meet with them at like 9:45, which would put me at the church about 45 minutes before I normally would be there. And so I looked, and sure enough, and I was like, oh, so then I was on this time crunch, and I'm like, I'm going to have to be there even longer, and I'm not trying to complain. I was just like, oh my gosh. So that's what and then we got weather and everything on top of it. Anyway, so I went, and I think people thought that I was kind of rude because the way that everything worked out, I wasn't like super sociable. I had a couple people come and sit down by me before like church started, and they talked to me, but otherwise I was very, very, very to myself today. But I did that on purpose. But I think people just thought that I was being antisocial. And then we left. I mean, you know, like we did it at the end of church service. We met with, you know, pastor ahead of time, and then he takes us back and shows us where everything is at, you know, where to put our stuff and everything. And I made this big to-do over the fact that I was going to dry my hair. I'm going to dry my hair there. I brought my hair dryer. I told everybody you can use my hair dryer. There are little changing rooms and stuff. Like, I was just like, oh my goodness, this is difficult. And then, you know, I'm like, have no idea what I'm doing. And there was 4 people actually that got baptized, and I went last. I almost wish I would have went like second to last, you know what I mean? But I went last. And my feet came up. He dunked me and my feet came up. Not up out, but like, you know, they came up. I don't know. I felt like such an idiot. I said, I feel like everybody else does everything like better than I do. Like, why is everything, every time I go to do anything, why am I such an idiot about it? I don't know. But that's how it felt. And so anyway, and I was climbing. Well, then I stood up and I wore my contacts, right? So I stand up and I turn. I'm like, oh, I can't see anything. I didn't say it, but I was just like, oh no, I couldn't like see the steps. I was just doing the best I could. There was no hand railing. I'm like, I am gonna fall and bust my face. And then you had to go down these steps. It was very rough. So I'm trying to do all of this, you know. And then I had to wait for the stall to be able, because they have these 2 little stalls. There was 3 females. So I had to wait to be able to change. And so I finally got to change, and I'm trying to hurry. I was trying to hurry to get changed to do the baptism, and then I was trying to hurry to get changed afterwards because I felt like everybody's going to be leaving the church. And oh my gosh, I was trying to dry off and get all my stuff in the bags, and I just don't know. I feel like other people don't panic in situations like that. Like, they just do what they need to do. And I was like rushing, and I felt like people were waiting on me. And the whole time, I'm just like, well, I will say this. When I stood up, because church was supposed to, I had sat for a long time waiting for the church to start. My family showed up and sat with me, and the church was starting. They had me stand up, and I was like, I'm dizzy. And I don't know if it's my antibiotic or what, but I was dizzy for like half the day. I hadn't eaten breakfast. You're supposed to take it with food. It's probably that, but I was dizzy for like over half the day. And so I was that, when I was getting baptized and stuff too, and it's just, and so anyway, so then afterwards I go, and I was going to blow dry my hair, and I'm standing there, and there's one outlet in this whole back part of the place, there's one, and there was two things plugged into it. One was just a little radio, and the other one was like a Wi-Fi booster. And they were still out there, like, playing their music and stuff. And I was like, if I unplug this and everything goes down, oh my gosh. So I just went out with my hair all wet. Today, the high was 21 degrees. And I'm pretty sure I have pneumonia. And here I came, traipsing through the church. And then, God love my family, they mean well. But my dad in this front entrance thing, like, I go in the side and everything, and like when he dropped us off in the front, and when he picked us up in the front. So I had to walk through everybody, and people are so sweet, and they're like, congratulations. I'm like, thanks. And like, don't touch me, don't hug me. I don't know, I'm infected. Okay, I gotta go. And so, then we get out there, my grandma was in the back seat, which there's a whole story behind why she needed to be in the front seat. We needed her to be in the front seat. So then everything's taking longer, and I'm just standing outside. Snow was like falling on me. It's okay, it's fine. Anyway, so that's done. So I did that. I got baptized today. I feel really good about it. I don't love the circumstances. It almost felt like a test. But if it didn't, it probably wouldn't be like normal for me, right? And anyway, so I'm looking very forward to everybody getting better with these antibiotics. My husband hasn't been seen yet. He's not sure if he has it or not or whatever. I'm pretty sure he does, but I don't know what he has. I don't know if it's secondary infection or what. But anyway, in other news, I have something going on with my tongue. And, well, actually, I have like this swollen thing in the back of my gums too, and that came on here a while back. But see, about a year and a half ago, my kids were diagnosed with a virus similar to hand, foot, and mouth. And I got in the mouth, and I was like, oh, it affected me the worst. Okay, whatever. No, so ever since that sickness right there, anytime I get very sick, I'm going to give a warning and tell you, if you don't want to see this, either get out of the video right now or fast forward, okay? Every time I get really sick, isn't that gross? It's disgusting, and I'm trying to talk to where people don't see it, and I just showed it on YouTube. But anyway, you look it up, and it could be any number of things. This could be a part of the autoimmune thing that I'm in the process of getting diagnosed. It could be just like a virus thing, but it's every time. It's every time I get sick now, for about the last year and a half. And it's not fun, and it's uncomfortable, and it's just like one more thing to make you uncomfortable when you're sick. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's okay, but food is super salty. I mean, it's super salty when it's like this. when it's not. Like, I eat like a Pringles, man, and I'm like, go through the roof. I'm like, that is like so salty. It doesn't burn, but it is very, very uncomfortable. So, I don't know. That's my story. That's what happened today. Got baptized. My clothes are all wet. They're in my bathtub. Because I was so exhausted. We got home, and I've been so exhausted. I made a nice big dinner for my family. But outside of that, I feel like doing poo-poo caca. That's what I feel like doing. I made my daughter lunch for tomorrow. I guess she's going to go ahead and go to school. But my husband wants to keep her out of dance another week. Which I get it. It's not that I don't get it. I get it. But almost, if we're going to keep her out of anything, it feels like we should keep her out of school. It feels like she's getting sicknesses from school. Not dance. But I don't know. That's what's up. I'm literally exhausted. And I don't know what's going on in there. But I guess I'm going to call it a night. There's a bunch of cleaning in this house that's going to have to be done. I saw somebody say, I just did one of those cleans. You know those cleans that you do after everybody's been sick and you've fallen behind? And I'm like, baby, that is normal. I try to keep up on things, but I've gotten to a point now where I'm like, man, like I'm not scrubbing the bathroom right now. So I'm going to have to get on stuff like that. I'm just hoping that with some more antibiotic, I'll get like a little more motivation. I am finally noticing a difference. That's how I also know that it has reached into other realms, like secondary infection, is because I am actually noticing a bit of difference in the way that I'm feeling with the antibiotic. And like I said, I'm only like 3 days in, into 10 days. But because it was not, I was like, I cannot go on anymore. This is terrible. And I was feeling really bad. And Friday night, I could not breathe. I was taking the antibiotic. I started it, and then I did a breathing treatment, and to be able to breathe. And then the coughing really amped up, and it was like a more cleared cough, which was great. But then I had to take the antihistamine to try to calm that down. It's been rough. My stomach still hurts from that really big coughing fit and stuff. So I'm looking forward to being well. I'm looking so forward to being well. I know this flu A is taking everybody out. And then that's what is so dangerous is the secondary infection. And it seems like you just slip right into it and you don't notice it because you never feel better from the flu. And then you just slip right into pneumonia or bronchitis or whatever. And it's rough. It's really rough. So keep some things in mind. Listen to your gut. Message your doctor, because I don't think they really want you coming in when you're really sick, really, anyway, because they're not going to do anything for you for the flu. You're on your own, babe. That's getting real old real quick. But secondary infection is nothing to mess around with, because it is gnarly. And straight up, like my daughter's chest x-ray was like, yeah, pneumonia, dude. She got pneumonia, dude. This lobe and that lobe and this lobe. So, just be careful and use your gut instincts. And just take care of yourself and your kiddos. Because this sucks. And don't get baptized in February. I mean, get baptized. That's cool. Whenever you gotta do it, I guess. But schedule that for June or something, you know? Schedule it for June. Alright, I'll talk to you later. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time. Bye.